Boom. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the NailedIT podcast, sponsored by the Total Wealth Academy. That's my company, Urban Restoration. I'm joined today by longtime friend, frenemy, competitor, person who we've scrapped together a lot in real estate. We grew up together, I would say, in this real estate game in like 2007. His name is Brant Phillips. He's written a bunch of books. He's written The 7 Habits or Fundamentals of a Flip. Wait, what was it?
You just butchered that.
The 7 Fundamentals of a Highly Successful Flip.
You did not nail that.
What was the first book?
7 Fundamentals of a Highly Successful Flip.
I got close.
You got close.
7 Fundamentals of a Highly Successful Flip.
Yep.
You can find that on Amazon.
Yep.
Amazon. What is that? Like 99 cents, $1.99, $7.99?
It's like 19 cents or something like that.
Are you lying? 19 cents?
I think it's 99 cents for the ebook.
Yeah.
You know, the printed copy is probably $9.99. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
You don't make much money off books.
No,
just so people know.
Why do you do books then?
So when I wrote that book, it was like it got to the point like you've experienced people start calling you, texting you, can you help me, all this kind of stuff.
I don't think people understand why you leverage the book. I think that this is a good turning point for success.
The books are like the first book I did it because I really wanted to. Like, man, I have so many people calling me. I'm pretty quiet and reserved, kind of stick to myself kind of guy.
Yes, you're an introvert.
Yeah, I'm an introvert. You're extrovert.
Yes.
But still, I was getting all inundated, and I wanted to help people, but I didn't want to go have lunch.
You're a
5 days a week.
You're a boundary setter.
Probably so.
Yeah.
So
big.
I called our buddy Jack, and I said, "Hey, man, I think I'm going to write this book." And he's like, "Call me when you're done," pretty much. So I wrote the book, and it was not good. To be honest, writing my first book, like it just came out.
Mine wasn't good either.
Yeah.
I dragon dictated the whole thing.
Yeah.
But Jack was like, "Hey, I need a book too." So I was like, "Okay, here you go."
Yeah. Yeah. And so anyway, so I've learned that process and how to get better, but it just helped. Like it started with just wanting to help people, share, and then you get, some recognition for it. That's cool. You don't make any money unless you're like Joel Osteen, Oprah Winfrey, or Stephen King,
or an ex-president,
something like that.
Right.
Yeah, they make money. Nobody else does.
Right.
You make a little bit, but then it really turns into a leverage piece, right? Like,
but you do make a bunch of money on it.
So yes, indirectly, like private lenders, it's credibility. If you're doing coaching, other things like that. So I really like the books.
People want something that they can take away after they come to listen to you speak to get more of your insight.
Yeah. And
I'm a big fan. Jack had me on the workbook. Mm-hmm. Like, give someone a workbook because you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I understand flipping, but what I think most people miss out on is like, when do I pay my contractors? What do I need to be doing daily? Like, what are some tasks that I can do to stay on track with contractors? Because if you don't know this stuff, you get lost.
Oh yeah.
And plus, I think we also write these books, or you write your books. I don't write books anymore. I do the podcasts. Mm-hmm. I'm all about the podcast. Mm-hmm. I want to get your snippet of your book in like an hour. Mm-hmm. So like Lewis House became my my master's class, was the School of Greatness podcast. Mm-hmm. You listen to that?
I'm familiar with it, but no, I don't listen to it.
Okay. Wow. I think he's had Tony Robbins on like 6 times.
Going to Tony Robbins in November.
Okay, which one?
Unleash the Power.
Not Date with the Destiny.
Not Date with Destiny.
Okay. Unleash the Power.
Yes.
As a couple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tara and I are going.
Wow.
In November.
So she's no longer catch me up with Tara. She's no longer doing Cosmopolitan.
No, I think she tapped out after kid 3. So she's been, stay-at-home mom and, managing CEO of our 5 kids
right
now. And so she's been doing that. She's just helped with little things here and there. But so she's getting, probably about 6 months ago, she's like, I want to come work with you. You know,
wow.
I'm like, okay.
To do what?
So she's getting her real estate license.
Okay. So Kendra, my fiance, is getting her real estate license.
So she's getting her real estate license to do all that.
And so, okay, what is all that? What does that look like?
Okay. So when I say all that,
yeah,
phone calls. Like literally phone calls. Because I have a...
Because you have an EXP brand.
Can't tell everybody this. I have a... God, cut the mic. I have a fully trained assistant who people look at me like, oh, you're EXP Icon agent.
Right.
I don't know how to do a listing. I don't fill out so I've got someone trained who does every single email, listing, amendments, Right. But she doesn't do the phone calls. You know,
you can't do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tara's gonna be the point of contact. It'll be her name, her email. So I'll just be totally
That's beautiful.
from that. Yeah.
So how much of the stuff? Okay, so for anyone that doesn't know Brant, if you've just had your head buried or you're brand new to real estate, that would probably
I've been out of the scene for a while though.
Yeah, kind of. But you're more like in the scene with Quest. That's the last time I saw you publicly, I think.
That's been a few years, too.
It was Quest, and then when you came up here and we did our mano y mano.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, yeah, you far surpassed just doing the single-family bullshit game. You're now doing the storage. And...
No, not storage.
Not storage. The mobile home.
Yeah.
Mobile home, that's what I meant.
Mobile home parks.
Which is like a storage of people where they live.
Yeah, so we started doing mobile home parks. I have an RV park. We still do single family.
Yeah.
You know, we still do single family.
So how much of your business is single family? And what are you doing in single family? Acquiring to rent or flip?
We mainly flip still.
Okay.
But you mentioned like we're competitors, but we don't compete. Yeah, we're doing...
It's just for the show.
Yeah.
It's just so that like, why is this competitor on here? Because your companies, you help investors. We'll call Home Invest Pro, Invest Home Pro.
Yeah,
yeah.
You used to do it unintentionally. Now I know it's coming. You're gonna butcher.
Yeah. I was Home Invest Pro, and my company is Urban Restoration, so Brant would publicly call me Urban Destruction.
Yeah. So we'll do 40 to 50 single family deals a year.
Okay.
Fix and flip.
Just your own.
Yeah, just our own.
Okay.
A few rentals and maybe half a dozen or so owner finance. So that's what we do on single family. Now mobile home parks, we've been buying 2 a year.
Yeah,
I guess for the last few years.
How do you get those deals?
Different ways. So we're marketing for them.
Okay.
I've bought one from a wholesaler. I bought one from like a public website.
What's the difference in because like we can go drive for dollars. Can you drive for dollars looking for a mobile home park?
Probably not a good use of time.
Okay.
I mean, if you see them,
right.
Yeah. But we do it. So we've bought one from a broker / wholesaler, Tim Luna. Bought one from Tim.
Okay.
That was my first one. We bought one from, like I said, a website. So we're doing a lot of SEO marketing, and we bought one from SEO. About to buy our second one from SEO, and the other one we also bought from a wholesaler.
Give me an idea of like, there was. Do you remember Big State?
Mm-hmm.
At one point, Big State was spending $75,000 a month to acquire single family.
Yeah.
Through SEO.
Yeah.
What's
through SEO or PPC?
Probably
PPC.
Probably both.
Yeah. PPC.
It was a both. He came on my podcast.
Yeah.
When I was at the Crowbar. Do you remember that one? A long time ago. It was in Oak Forest. We used to do it was called the Real Estate Happy Hour. Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. With Clay Cahoon.
Yeah.
Yes. So he told me he was spending about $75,000 a month, and Bible was spending like $50, and then also had all the billboard game.
Yeah.
Remember with the Right Path?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which, yeah, it's like only one of those guys is still going. I feel like.
It's tough, man.
It is.
It's tough. And so I tried doing that a few years ago, and we failed miserably. Also, like, all right, let's go from 50 to 100, and then you have multiple consecutive bad months. You got to change some team members, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. So we changed our mindset to small but mighty. It was like something me and my coach came up with, small but mighty. So we're like, stay 40 to 50 deals a year. So what
would be wrong with that?
No,
I don't understand why everybody has to grow to like a Grant Cardone scale.
You don't have to.
Right.
And that's what I
just build the life you're good at.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I used to tell my students all the time, I'm like, if you can flip 10 or 15 deals a year with low overhead, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
That could be a great business. Now, I just wanted to get out of it. Like, I wanted to do 40 or 50 without being in it, right? And so that's what, I work on is like, hey, how do I do this without being in it so I can do something else or just have free time?
Are you still doing marathons?
No, I never did a marathon. I did Ironman.
Ironman. It's the same thing.
What's
the difference?
You finish an Ironman with a marathon. Yeah. And so I had never ran a marathon until I did an Ironman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, true. Yeah, Pablo just qualified for Worlds. Pablo, have you seen Pablo?
Yeah.
He is like half the guy he used to be.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. No, I'm not fast. Mm-hmm. Very slow. It was just like literally just came up like bucket list. Let me give it a shot. I had 3 knee surgeries before, and so I was like, I'll never do it, And dude, it just came up one day, and I heard a guy telling his story about his Ironman experience, and he had, I think 3 Achilles tears. Right, he used to be like really into like ultra marathons and all that kind of stuff, and he still did, marathons. And I'm like, hell, let me just give it a shot. If I quit, I quit. If I can't make it, I can't make it. So I did it. I did a half, then I did a full, then I did another half, and I did another full. And so,
what did you learn from the first Ironman?
Oh man, that's a good question. So I learned a lot, right?
Because we were with you on Facebook as you would finish a run. You would do the Brant breakdown, where you would give us a little snippet of what was in your mind.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people do this.
Yeah.
When they're running and exercising, they're always giving advice or some critical thought came through their mind and they're sharing it. It's really good information.
Oh, you'll have some of your biggest insights.
So what was yours?
Through exercise.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I had one big insight. This question could actually take me a while.
That's okay.
But so a lot of the stuff I did, like with Ironman, when I fought, in the MMA cage fight, if you remember that, and went through SEAL training, all that kind of stuff, was really like I wanted to get out of my comfort zone, right?
Because you did a fight.
Yeah, I fought in a cage fight. I got my ass knocked out, just so everybody knows.
In like what, 1 minute or something?
It was pretty quick.
Yeah.
I don't need to rehash that, but the guy called because it was like amateur. I mean, the dude clocked me, like it knocked me out cold. I come to almost right, and the dude's pounding my face in, but I get him off and I get up, and he called the fight because it was like an amateur fight, and I'm like, I was good, but the dude clocked me hard. Like went out cold and like waking up doing like that. I got him up, got off, and he was like, nah, that's it. And so anyways, check the box. People are like, you gonna do it again? I'm like, no.
Right,
no,
right.
I'm
I
not.
Already checked that box.
No, I'm not.
Isn't it funny how many people want to live vicariously through you doing what they want to watch?
Right above my desk is the man in the ring. Right? Like that is one of the most powerful quotes or sayings, just like being the man in the ring who's bloody and marred and all that kind of stuff.
That's from the girl here in Houston.
What do you mean?
The man in the ring.
Well, no, that's from Eisenhower, but yeah.
She brings it back. Golly, I can't remember what her name is. Everybody's going to... You don't know what I'm talking about? Brene Brown.
I'm not that
Dr.
big.
Brene Brown.
I'm not that big on social media, but...
She's not on social media. She did a TED Talk. She did a TED Talk, and she's from the University of Houston in the psychology department.
Okay.
And what her big deal is like, what is missing in the world today is people authenticity, is actual authenticity through being vulnerable and transparent. And that men today there's rare as the man that walks out and is willing to be in the ring. And so she said, if you're willing to be in the ring, then you cannot take arrows from people in the stands. They didn't even have the guts to get into the ring.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of people out there.
Oh,
a lot of Karens in the in the stands.
It's a majority.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a majority.
That's why I tell people, they're like, why do you talk to Brant or Jason Bible or AC or whoever? Why do you talk? I don't need anything from you. So I'm in the ring with you. I can give you blows. But conversely, if you're going to blow, you have to be ready to get clocked upside your head whenever someone sees your weak. Someone will always see your weak side. And that's what I didn't learn until the last 2 or 3 years. I'm not perfect, but I thought I was. And that humility, getting knocked down and being able to come back up, that's been the biggest life lesson for me.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. It's it's the Rocky thing, it's not a matter of how hard you can hit, a matter of how hard you can get hit and get back up.
Is that what the first Iron Man taught you? That you could get hard and get back up?
The first Iron Man taught me just to commit to something, even though it scared me, and get this limiting stuff out of my head. Because I had a doctor who told me, he said, he basically quoted, he's like, you have the knee of a very old man who lived like a 7-year-old man who lived a very hard life. He's like, you need a knee replacement, not now, but sooner rather than later. He's like, you should stop running, stop doing CrossFit, all that kind of stuff. So that was, geez, now I'm really getting old, probably 12 years ago or so.
Right.
And so I believed him. Right, I'm like, oh, well, I need to stop doing all this stuff, even though I knew when I exercise, number one, stress relief, 2, health, 3, some of my biggest insights and stuff came when I was exercising. But I believed him to a certain extent. Now, I got back into doing CrossFit and stuff like that, and that was like my comfort zone. But then doing an Ironman, I can't do that. It's my knee, And it was one of my old coaches who did it, and he was like qualified for Kona and all this kind of stuff. So he got real in depth. And Ironman is like, dude, like I've had 3 torn Achilles and blah, 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 blah. He's like, you can listen to your doctor, listen to you. He's like, if you want to do it, just do it. And so I just did it, and I'm like, screw it, I'm just going to sign up and I'm going to go. And then, now all this stuff comes back to me, and then I started training for it. I went to go swim. Dude, I couldn't last 10 minutes in the pool, like swimming without like touching bottom. Dude,
really?
Dude, I thought I was going to die. Like I was going to drown. So I found a swim coach, and he put me in the water, and I went back and forth a couple times. He's like, yeah, you're probably going to die if you get into open pool of water. So
open water.
So I got a few lessons, and I had a lot of lessons from it, man. It's like, if you need help, first off, just commit. Get a coach, get some help. I hired a swim coach. It was like 3 or 4 lessons, and it was like, I knew I wasn't going to set any records, but I'm like, I just want to finish. So I did that. Man, day of the race, like you just keep moving, man. It's just like one step at a time.
That's what I tell people all the time when they say, if I tell someone my story, like losing parents at such an early age, they ask you, and I always go back to that moment in the movie with Tom Hanks, where Castaway. He comes back and his whole life is gone. The woman he loves is with another woman, and it's raining outside, and FedEx is throwing this party for him, and he's sitting in there, and they said, how did you do it? And he said, I just kept breathing. And I think a lot of people today don't just keep breathing. They're so soft. They don't have a calloused mind where they don't embrace difficulty. Like you have to really embrace, I'm going to go through a lot of pain in order to accomplish this goal.
Yeah.
And I think if you already know that it's going to hurt, then you're okay with it.
Yeah. A big part of why I did all that stuff was for my kids too. You know,
why is that?
I did it for me. I'm not going to say like I did it for my kids, but also was like, if I do this when they're experiencing fear, you know, doubt, having like, hey bud, like I understand, you know, ways to relate and lead by example. So fear is a big thing, obviously. So most people, they do, man. They bow down to fear. They give in to fear, and they don't even they don't even take the time to understand the fear. So I went through. You remember I went through like my, you know, kind of finding Jesus, kind of like my little sabbatical, kind of going through all this kind of stuff because I had essentially like a meltdown in life, midlife crisis, verge of divorce, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to figure some things out, or this is not going to end good. Right. And so I created business success, but personally, like I was a wreck, right? I was trying to be this outer shell and look all nice and clean, but it was like, it was pretty
You
much
were trying to be an extrovert in an introvert's body.
I don't know if I was trying to be I don't know, but
I'm just saying for people that they could see,
yeah,
you've got this person here
that's fair, yeah,
who's one way and really deep down inside is this way. And I've dealt with this with Chris Funk a lot. Mm-hmm. Everyone thinks when they meet him that he's an extrovert. When they see you up on stage, they associate an extrovert. But really, when you get down to know you, like if we're all sitting at the table, Brant's the silent killer. Brant's the guy that's thinking a lot and processing. I'm the one that's talking and basically missing half the shit that's going, like half the real good stuff. You're thinking and processing, and then you'll drop a knowledge piece on everybody, and the whole table will be like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
But a lot of people associate success with the loudest guy in the room.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm always that guy, but you do want to be aware of the quietest guy in the room. Usually. You
should always fear what he's thinking.
What you said is true, though, because when I was coming out of that period, that valley, or as a valley in my life, when I was coming out of it, I did want to share, like, did I want to share this and teach this? And then that's whenever I was getting into, you know, Facebook and doing the videos and all that kind of stuff. And one of the big things I learned was how to basically really understand my fear, right, and process it, right? Because there's useful fear. Touch a hot stove, you don't do that, it's gonna burn. But most of it's non-useful. It's all this BS and all this kind of stuff. So I talk with this a lot with my kids, and a lot of people don't realize, like, fear is physiologically the same response in our body as excitement, except when we're experiencing fear, we stop breathing. We're like, oh. But if you just, like, you can transform fear into excitement. So I do this all the time. Like, we're doing another park right now, and I'm like, like I'm getting nervous. You know, why am I nervous? Is it the deal? Is it because it's going to add a lot of work to my plate? Is like something like maybe I need to be fearful, you know? So fear can be used for good. You know, you just determine, is this useful, is non-useful, where is it coming from? You breathe and you can transform it and get excited about things and doing things. And so that was a big part of my MMA thing, like just overcoming that fear.
That's huge, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. Plus, I think that you want your kids, when you were talking about kids, you know, I've got one in college, one's in, she's like a junior. And she's been out of volleyball since the 8th grade. Mm-hmm. And so she went to go, you know, she went into Bridgeland, which is a big, huge high school, right? Like 3,500, almost 4,000.
Right off 99. Right?
Yeah, right off 99. So she started all of her years, but she's not playing in that traveling group. So she didn't make the team. Mm-hmm. Well, so she went back this year to her junior varsity year, and she's made the team. Mm-hmm. But she's not playing. And so she's so devastated because she goes, Dad, you don't have to show up if you don't want to, because I'm not going to be playing. And I'm like, don't you understand? just the goal was you're one of 12 that made the team. You get to play with everybody every day. It doesn't matter this year if you don't make the team. Next year you'll get to play.
Yeah.
You just got to keep being a good teammate.
Yeah.
And sometimes in life, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Is play the sit role.
Yeah.
Let me just sit and watch and help and be just a practice person.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people do that, but man, I bet you if I had done something, and I think my kids sometimes take a little bit of what I do and they can extrapolate from it, but to be able to go out and compete in a competition level with other people and watching that live event happen and watching their dad cross over a finish line, that's got to be fucking insane for them.
Perspective's huge, man. Like, I love how you did that with your daughter, right? Like, you got to have the right perspective. That's what we got to do too as business owners and deals. And,
I think you're a guy and a dad that probably embraces failure. Is like, yeah, let's do this. Who cares? Let's just go out and go.
Well, I'm not afraid to fail. But
but half of the people that are watching this aren't.
Yeah, I know.
They are.
No, I know.
They won't go put themselves in an MMA ring because they're afraid of getting their ass knocked out.
No, I know. Yeah. That's the battle. It's not whether you win or lose. It's just getting in the ring. Like New Deal. Like, dude, I've went through this a lot in the last couple of years with real estate, hitting the ceiling. Like, dude, like I can just stick with my single family, but then I'm getting the itch, and doing the mobile home parks, doing the development deals. It's not my comfort zone. I'm battling that out.
What brought up the mobile home park?
So mobile home park was a buddy of mine was doing them for quite a while, and so I just made redneck jokes, to be honest with you, but then I started looking at it, kind of saw where single family was going. I'm like, before we were competing versus 2 or 3 guys, and now it's like, oh, we're competing versus 10 other offers. Like, this is not a game I even want to play on, for much longer. I can't play in it much longer. It just doesn't make sense.
It's like in 2010 when we used to have just hundreds of foreclosures, and all of a sudden it's just like the spigot.
Yeah.
Just dried up.
Yeah. So I knew the end of the road was coming, single family was changing, so I needed to figure something else out. And I just started reading, getting information, and basically, and I talk about this a lot when I talk about mobile home parks, but basically 2 things. Like, I learned about Warren Buffett, owning 21st Century Mortgage, owning Clayton Homes, so he was there. And then I learned about Sam Zell. You know who Sam Zell is? I didn't know who Sam Zell is. He's the Michael Jordan of real estate. And I didn't even know about this guy. So he's done more real estate than anybody ever, pretty much. Multifamily, skyscrapers, shopping malls, storage, residential, you name it. The guy's done it. Like, hundreds of billions of dollars of real estate. So long story short, his company was acquiring some other company. It was some $100 million acquisition or something like that. The company that they were buying, and they were just buying a business, that business owned a mobile home park. So, and this was in the 80s. So he had one of his guys, he said, hey, I need you to go out, take a look at this thing, and figure out what we need to do to get rid of it, because obviously we don't want to own a mobile home park. So the guy went out, took a look at it, went through all the financials, comes back, and he's like, you're not going to believe this. And he's like, what, it's worse than we thought? He's like, no, it's an ATM machine. It's like printing cash. So long story short, that they kept it, and fast forward to today, they're by far the largest owner of mobile home parks. They've got like 160,000 lots.
How many lots do you have?
A little under 200.
Dude, that's fucking badass.
Yeah, about 170 something.
How big was the first one?
43.
43.
But let me finish this story real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
So they started buying them in 1984.
Okay.
Fast forward to today. If you look at their holdings in multifamily, commercial, strip centers, all this kind of stuff, they've sold off roughly half their holdings over the years. They've never sold a mobile home park. It's when I read that, I'm like, this dude is the greatest real estate investor ever, and he, by his actions, says he loves these things greater than anything else in real estate. I was like, I gotta give it a shot. So
I always think people are going to no longer have mobile homes, right?
Why do you think that?
Limiting belief, just not having enough education, not surrounding myself or being at a table with people who buy mobile homes.
You think that people are going to move up?
I think that people, yes. I think manufactured homes, really, that was like a thing in the 80s and 90s, maybe, right? I always see people, but I'm wrong. Because when you get out towards Huntsville, it's tons of mobile homes.
It's like 10%.
Yeah.
10% across the country. So I think the opposite's going to be true.
Really?
More people are going to be living in manufactured homes.
Why do you think that?
Okay, so number one, the government's print money.
Okay.
Like toilet paper, right?
Yeah.
Probably more so. So the American dream is to own your own home.
Mm-hmm.
The American dream is fading fast. If the median price home in Houston's going to be
$350 or something like that,
lower middle class, they can't even afford it.
right?
They can't afford it, and it's like getting further and further. So,
but where are they going to live? That's my point. Where are they going to live?
Well,
no, where are they going? Where are you going to drop a mobile home park in the middle of Houston?
Yep. So maybe you're not, right? So because major cities won't allow them.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it doesn't even make financial sense. Your cost of your dirt,
Yeah, it's too much.
That doesn't make sense. You build up, right, for that dirt. So then you look to the suburbs. Probably doesn't even make sense there because City of Sugar Land's not going to approve a permit for mobile home park.
Do you still live in Sugar Land?
Yeah, Richmond.
Okay.
Yeah. So will
Richmond approve a permit?
Probably not.
Really?
Probably not.
Richmond done come up.
Probably not. So we're looking for, if you're going to develop one, and I really recommend people don't, but you look at, they call it the exurbs, like on the outside of the suburbs now, where you can like get in the county. It's not too far for people to make the commute, but maybe it's not even mobile home parks. That's why we're doing this development. We're doing a development of 140 the basically manufactured homes, double wides on land. They're going to be a half-acre lot, 37 minutes from downtown,
right.
Low 200s, but that's home ownership. That's the American dream. They can go to Houston, but to find something on a half-acre lot that's not a piece of crap is like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So who's manufacturing these homes?
I don't know yet. Like there'll be multiple manufacturers, right? So we'll order from like Clayton and Palm Harbor, and there'll be different ones for them to choose from.
Will you just invite them to come and have like a one home there that people can, like a sales center?
So we will, we're going to sell lots to some local dealers, and they can put whatever they want and sell it. And then we're just going to be ordering homes, 20 homes at a time.
And then you will owner finance those out?
No, they're all going to be just sold. Like we're going to.
Can you get a 30-year mortgage on a mobile home?
You can do a 25-year mortgage on a mobile home. I want to say it's 25. We've been flipping them on land too.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Where are you finding most of your deals?
We mainly do SEO and pay-per-click.
Right.
We do pay-per-click.
When you're getting these deals coming in, what's the person? Older, younger, divorce?
Probably all of the above.
Really?
Yeah, probably all of the above.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Any good deals out there?
we market. We try to do our marketing outside of Houston.
Okay.
We do a little bit in Houston, but we market.
It's probably cheaper.
The exurbs.
Yeah.
That's what we market. We market to Magnolia, Dayton, Conroe, all those types of areas. Brazoria County, Montgomery County. That's where we market.
Do you get any off of Facebook? Do you do Facebook marketing?
No.
Mm-mm. Man, I'll bet you that's like a little gold mine.
We don't do Facebook.
You don't do Facebook at all anymore, do you?
Very little.
You just let Chris Bounds do it all?
Chris is working it.
Yeah, he is. He's working the EXP thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when EXP started, you jumped in pretty early.
Most smart people do. Yeah. Let's shout out some people.
It's a shout
It was
out
a pretty no-brainer thing for me.
Yeah. It was not a no-brainer for me.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Why was it a no-brainer? Or why was it not a no-brainer for you?
Because
Are you still licensed? You're not licensed.
No, I'm not licensed anymore. I got rid of it. I did it. I brought in people. You want to know why I got rid of the license? One, because I don't think being a realtor, I think when you're talking about looking at single family,
Mm-hmm.
you said I looked at single family and I saw that it was going nowhere. I look at real estate agents and I think you are fucked. You got offer pad coming right up your ass.
Dude, I sold 2 houses to Open Door last month.
Brother, I sold Open Door, my personal residence. Do you want to know how much they gave me for my personal residence? $485,000. Do you want to know what Open Door's biggest problem is? I sold them my house in Brooksmith. They pulled comps in a 1 mile radius. And a 1 mile radius is Woodland Heights and North Hill. You gave me price per square foot based on North Hill.
They got a lot of problems, man.
They got a lot of problems.
I'm like, you're going to give me what? For what?
Dude,
here.
They're trying to resell my house right now. My house is on the market for $505,000.
Yeah. Yeah, they're supposedly they're turning a slight profit, but they got to be losing money, man.
So yeah, I have the contact of one of the guys. I'm sure you have the same guy. His name's Blake. He's like the Houston area. So. Okay, maybe where you're selling your stuff, it's outside of his comfort zone.
I sold one in Sugar Land.
Okay,
and one on like West Belfort, Chimney Rock.
Okay, nice. How much did you get for that one?
Chimney Rock.
Yeah,
it was like $250. It was not a good. It's not a good area, man. It's not a good area.
I don't know what I feel like if they would have just bought and hold. Yeah. Like, I'm going to buy and hold this and put it in a renter for a year, and then we're going to sell. Yep. I think that they would make a ton of money. Yeah. But the iBuyer coming in is going to crush the regular real estate agent.
Well,
you have 10% of your agents out there that are making money, right? Mm-hmm. They make up, 80% of all HAR sales.
Yeah.
Is like 10% of the agents. Mm-hmm. The rest of them, I just don't see you making it.
It's hard. I mean, I deactivated my license for the same reason. Years ago, I deactivated it.
And then you got back into it.
Well, yeah, I had a girl on staff who's an agent doing all my stuff. I'm like, I don't need this. But when I saw EXP, I'm like, that's when I reactivated my license specifically because of EXP.
And you're the reason why I don't like EXP because you said it at the very beginning. And I love EXP now.
Wait, what did I say?
I like EXP now,
yeah.
Okay? Because I think it's a proven model.
Yeah.
I think that they have enough market share where they're making a difference.
Yeah.
And that okay, so when I'm listening to someone talk about it, and they're coming in and they're like, yeah, I'm doing this, switch your license over to EXP. And I'm owning a brokerage at the same time, right, with agents. Mm-hmm. And I'm there training and doing all the stuff. And I'm putting things under contract. And I'm doing the amendments. And I'm doing all the paperwork. And then I hear somebody is with EXP. And they're recruiting for EXP. And they don't do any of the stuff that an agent would do. I think, this is destined to fail. Mm-hmm. Okay, but you figured it out.
Well, it's Amazon.
I agree.
It's Amazon for real estate.
Look, I was wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
clearly I was wrong. I was on the wrong side of history on this deal.
And I took a beating, right? Whenever I first announced it and was marketing it, I got pounded. I got pounded. And most times I just didn't respond. I'm like, I didn't know for sure, but I'm like, I did enough research. I knew what the vision of the company was. I knew the fundamentals. I bought it. I'm like, this is gonna be Amazon, and I believe it's gonna be. So, and it's not too late to change your mind. Not too late to change your mind, because
my mind about what? I've already changed my mind.
Well,
I think EXP is good.
No, about maybe coming on and having a role in it, because we're like at 60,000. I mean, the goal now is 1 million agents.
Okay.
I have agents now in Spain.
Oh, so talk about then real quick.
Other countries now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But talk about the benefits that you get from EXP. This is where I think it's wild.
Yeah, and so with EXP, the main thing I do is recruit, right? And so some agents are, they don't want, this is even EXP agents, right? And they're like, oh, I just don't want to be known as a recruiter. I'm like, well, you're recruiting the wrong way. You don't spam people and cold call, and you don't do things like that. But if you know an agent, hell yeah, you want to recruit them. What does Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, what do all the brokerages do? They recruit.
Right.
Every major company, they recruit people and talent to their company. That's what you got to do.
But y'all have one key. One key. If you did nothing else, and you just said, this is the one thing that we're offering, every agent should sign up for it. Do you want to know what I think that is?
What's different for every agent?
Yeah, because I am an only person, and I have 3 kids in the state of Texas, says, as a divorced dad who is the breadwinner, you are responsible for one thing: healthcare. And EXP offers that, correct?
What is your healthcare now? Blue Cross? Is it like Blue Cross Blue Shield or
no,
something?
It's called Philadelphia American Life.
Dude, so we were paying $1,500 a month. It was like $1,400 and something.
You're getting ready to prove my point.
Yeah.
That this is the one thing.
Yeah. So that's what we were paying per month before. And EXP didn't have healthcare when I joined. That came after, like a year after. So now we pay $653 a month.
And that's for you and what, 5 kids?
5, and my wife.
Yeah.
So 7 people. And I had a shoulder surgery in February. It covered almost 100% of it. So there's health care.
Do you get that day one, or do you have to wait?
No, you get it day one.
Day one.
You get it day one. So there's health care. There's ownership, right? And so I don't know any other brokerages giving out ownership.
Besides Keller Williams? Or Keller only gives just a equity distribute, or not equity, but just a distribution.
They have
off
a profit share.
Profit
so we
share.
have revenue share, which is a lot more money, man. It's just a lot more money. What's bigger, profit or revenue? When you look at financial statement, it's right off the top. You know what you're getting every time an agent does a deal. So that's why I came. I'm like, all right, this is another income stream with basically no risk, huge potential reward. So that it was a revenue. So it was another income stream. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, where we both learned from, create multiple streams of income, all in the real estate sphere. I'm like, I know a lot of agents. I'm always meeting agents. Why wouldn't I do it? So build an income stream. Number 2, have equity and ownership in it through stock awards. They give us stock based on production. They just don't give it. Like,
is this the only stock that you own?
It's the I've got some other little. Okay. I'm not a stock guy. Like I got some other little cheesy little stuff.
You're a Robinhood investor, aren't you?
I have a Robinhood account.
Good for you.
There's not much money in it.
Good for you.
I started playing around last year, but that's
still good.
This is pretty much the only stock that I own.
Okay.
I don't even like my own. I probably will just sell all that.
Do you know that Burr had to sell all of his EXP, and it's the one thing that he regrets?
Oh, well, can
you want to know?
I don't know.
Why?
Should you share why he had to sell it?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Burr did a investment deal. Mm-hmm. He lent on a deal, and he was waiting on a payoff to come in, and that payoff kept getting strung along, and he needed to fund this guy's repair draw. So he sold his EXP.
Wow, dude. Where was it at when he sold it?
Oh, this was like, I think it was like at, like 42 or something. This was after the split, and after it had gone down. Yeah. And now EXP is soaring back.
It's still around that though. It's in the 40s, yeah. Damn, but dude, it skyrocketed to 160. something like that.
I think it was 110.
No, it was a lot higher.
And then it did the split.
No,
Y'all did the split when
it was 160, 170.
So
they can we'll fact check it later.
Yes,
but
well,
it was. Trust me, it was up there.
Yes, there was a lot of people that were shorting EXP.
Sure.
Right, and so it was driving the stock up because there wasn't enough float.
Yeah.
So now unfortunately, I did the pandemic Robin Hood thing where I became a stock expert.
Yeah.
But I only chased the GameStop, which paid for like the down payment on my swimming pool.
Yeah.
So that was great.
You build pools now, right?
Yeah, I build pools. Okay. Yeah, I'm loving it. It's great. It's the biggest problem with swimming pools is you can't get parts.
Like
I've got like four
the equipment parts or
all of your you know I have a whole IntelliCenter that's on my pool. So that box communicates directly to my phone, which then connects directly to the filter, to the pump, to everything. But right now I'm running a used 1 horsepower pump, and I've got a sand filter, like a big commercial grade sand filter, which is supposed to be really good because you can use those for 5 years. I'm just learning all this shit. But I've got everything wired at my house. I'm just waiting on my personal IntelliCenter to come in so I can connect it all and all my pumps, and it does your little Dolphin or your Polaris or whatever. It works all that. But nothing will work until I have that in. I mean, I've got
it's like everything now.
My pool is running, but it doesn't run like it doesn't have the lights. It doesn't have a heater. I don't have any of that. And
so frustrating, man.
Yeah. So I just put I've got 3 pools that are getting ready to be built. I'm doing one on, but the main thing that I've done is just changed my business model to going straight custom. And then I went and bought Burr and I just bought this big lot in the middle of the Heights on the opposite side. Brant and I, we did this video a long time ago on YouTube. We bought the first house ever that I did in Brooksmith. I partnered with him on it. We sold it. We bought it for, I think, 80? 75.
Something like that. From
75.
From Dinker?
From Will Dinker.
Yeah.
The human stinker, the great Will Dinker.
Yeah.
So we bought it from Will. Will had it under contract for 50.
He had both houses.
Both houses. Yeah. And then I sold the other one to the Arnett's. And then you and I did the deal, and I think we sold ours for like 172.
Yeah, we did okay.
It was like 28,000 maybe.
Yeah, back then. I hate the Heights. I hate
your worst deal ever was in the Heights?
I hate the Heights, man. I really do.
Why?
I hate it. And I
tried
telling you that it wasn't for me. Like I'm anti-custom. Like I want Walmart. I want to paint everything beige. Like I don't want to decide on countertops, or light fixtures, or anything.
Yeah, I would always go around and say,
if the last house sold quickly, why would we do the next house different? You do everything the same. And now we have 2 colors, like beige and a new gray. Those are 2 colors. But a grayish. Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, that's even better, which we do sometimes. But no, it wasn't for me, man. And then the whole Enid debacle, that wasn't fun.
No, that was Brant. That was the hardest. That was the hardest deal with you. That was the one. That was the one that really tore my ass up. You and I, and I'm gonna I tell people this story all the time.
I want to hear how do you tell this story?
Okay, this is how
it may be revisionist history, is what I'm thinking. Okay.
So you and I came together.
Yeah.
And you said, I want to buy a deal. I said, hey,
I wanted to build.
Yeah, want to build brand new. I said, hey, I got a great lot. It was a brilliant lot. It was perfect because it was right next to the washateria that was getting redone.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, but here's the deal. I want to partner with you on this deal. You said, okay, I'm going to bring you in for 10%. Remember that?
Keep going.
It was 10%.
Keep going.
So I had to go, and you brought another guy with you. I guess this guy had like some bank relationship or something that you thought he was going to be bringing to the table. And I was supposed to get us all the plans and stuff like that. And at that time, David Weekley was building right down the street. And you saw this little 3-story townhome model, and you were like, oh, this is what I want. And so we went off to go do that. I show up there with me, you, this guy, I don't even know what his name is, Atkins, and Ludi. Crazy Ludi.
Oh, God.
And so in the middle of the deal, while we're in Ludi's office and she's going to go print something out, you say, or the guy says to you, he says, so what is he here for? And you said, oh, he's here for design. And he goes, well, isn't that what we're here doing now? Like, what's the purpose? Then maybe like, I don't know, 3 hours later, I get this text from you. It's like, hey, we're changing the deal. And this is what it changed to. Instead of 10% a house, we're going to pay you $2,500 for design. You design everything. I need a list of every SKU number that you're going to use and all that stuff. That's the email.
Okay, you're leaving out one
Okay.
really big important part. So what happened was I brought my partner in because a good friend of mine, David, because I needed like help possibly on financial side, right? Because it was a big deal, right? And I was nervous, and so I trusted David. He was putting money into the deal and gonna add
help
some other
finance it.
So whenever it came about, I was like, hey, basically what I was doing was building the team. So that's when I told you, I'm like, hey, I want you to meet David, right? This is my part. This is who I want to bring as a partner. And then I told David, I was like, hey, I want you to meet Curtis because I want Curtis to be a part of this project. We met at a house that you were flipping over off of somewhere in the Heights. It was like a blue house. It was like a Smurf blue house.
Oh, Vincent, 807 Vincent.
You don't remember this. You walked in like cocky, like your stuff don't stink.
I could never, ever
and you pretty much said, yeah, I'll partner with you guys, but you wanted a salary. You told us you want a salary and be a partner. And
I don't remember that at all.
Dude, you did. You did.
Okay.
And it pissed him off. He was like, who the hell is this guy that's going to partner and a salary? And then, so that was a big part of it. But then I still want Curtis to be a part of this. I know like that meeting didn't go well. It irritated me too, man.
Why didn't you just tell me that?
Dude, I don't know. Cause I don't remember how it all went down. So I only remember the part that I remember. Right?
No,
you wanted to be paid like a contractor and to be a partner, and I'm like, and you just made money on the assignment fee.
Yeah, I think I made like $25,000 on that assignment.
So
fee.
my partner's like, screw this guy. Who does he think he is? And I'm like,
I remember something happened with his money too. Like he wasn't able to get it, so I think you took it down yourself.
We brought in another partner. A financial partner later on.
Okay, so let's fast forward.
So that was the piece that you're missing.
Yeah,
that's so you left that out like, oh no, Brant tried to. No, that was.
I didn't leave that out. I didn't leave that out purposely. That is something that you're hearing from me, and I'm hearing for the first time that I said, and you. And I'm not saying that I didn't say it. I may have said this.
No, you said it.
But I'm saying I don't remember this part. I only remember the part that came to me.
I do believe you, but also knew that I'm like, hey, I still want Curtis to be a part of it. And he's like, well, if he's making money on assignment, he wants to get paid as a contractor.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. So that's where I was like, well, I really want Curtis's help on design. He's like, well, let's pay him to do design. So that's where that came.
Gotcha.
That came about after that. And then that's when I was going to get all this.
I was like, fuck it.
This was when you went on the screw Brant Phillips.
Oh, I was
parade.
So. Oh, dude,
it was hurtful to me, man.
Yeah.
Like you said mean things, and I'm like, I don't need this dude in my life, and
you cut me out.
I blocked you, and I'm like, I'm moving on, and then but that's why I was irritated, because I wanted you to be a part of the deal, because I know my weaknesses. I knew I sucked at that thing.
Okay, well,
I knew that.
Well, then I'm glad that you came here so that we could squash it.
Yeah. I think we kind of already have, but we haven't really talked about it in depth.
We didn't, and I think that this is I don't know. I like raw stuff. I like it when I don't really care to hold back. I tell people all the time, the last 2 years of my life, I had a horrible relationship with my daughter, not my doing.
You're the one who's junior?
No, the one that's in college.
Oh, okay.
Her senior year and her freshman year was almost non-existent communication. It was like I shouldn't even breathe.
Was it like that in middle school also?
No, it was like that because when you get divorced, and I would tell, and I remember talking to you about this whenever you were sharing very little. I remember trying to be your best friend, and you were like, I don't have best friends. So I remember going through this. And
Atkins was a best friend for a long time. He was a pretty good friend.
Atkins
is a good friend.
Atkins, man, that dude, I feel like that guy could have been anything he wanted to in real estate. I don't get it.
He's in law school now.
I'm going to just tell you, the guy is a great speaker. Like, he's great.
He's incredibly smart. Yeah. I'm not a big friend guy, though. Like, I see you guys doing something like every night.
Burr's like Burr's my spiritual animal. I mean, he I have FOMO with Burr. Yeah. I mean, when he's involved, but there's people that come along, and they just you just click immediately. Yeah. Like we went out for my birthday on Saturday night, and dude shows up, and it was just nonstop laughter almost the whole night. But I don't know. There are times when I get chapped, my ass gets chapped at Burr, and I have to like say some shit, or he'll turn around and say something back. But I mean, I don't know. It's more like I guess for me, my biggest downfall is whenever I invest into people emotionally, I don't have family. So my family is my friends.
Yeah.
Those are my people who I'm close with. And if I get dogged, then there was a part of my life, i.e. that situation with you, where I just go and I will just destroy the bridge. And I will say, because I'm so insecure, I will say everything that I can about that person to destroy them. And it's become like, it was my biggest Achilles heel. It's what I've had to learn over this last couple of years. Yeah. Because my daughter, going back to this full circle, my daughter came to me this year at the beginning of the year, and she said, I believed my mom the whole time. Will you forgive me? I just kept being consistent with the, I love you. Hey, do you need anything?
Yeah.
And she called me one day, and this is how it all came back together. She called me, and she was like, I've got this fucking health insurance, and you're fucking cheap, and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, you haven't been a part of my life for 2 years. You do not get a chance to call me up. You don't get to yell at me. I will hang up on you right now, because you have not invested anything into this relationship other than sow seeds of resentment. And we went at it. And after that, it was, this is all the things you've done. And then I just kept saying, you're right. I did those things. And I can't take it back. But I will tell you this, since the divorce, the thing that you're holding back from me, that you said that you had this realization of when you're like 16 or whatever, I said, you have to remember, we traveled the entire state of Texas playing volleyball, and you never once brought it up. Never once. You had plenty of time. We have laughters, we have videos, we have selfies, all that stuff. You never brought it up. But here we are today. And so it came full circle. She worked for me this summer. It's been great.
It's awesome.
I'm 47 years old, and the biggest life
Getting
change.
old, dude.
Yeah, the biggest life change happened in this room. I was with James Toller. James did my podcast with me. Mm-hmm. You know James? Mm-hmm. And James was like, when I die, I want to have like all these people be like, James helped me get to heaven.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, I want a bunch of people to be at my funeral. Mm-hmm. And I said, James, I don't know how many people are going to be at my funeral. I got to change. So I created, this is part of the reason we're doing this podcast. Mm-hmm. I want to leave a legacy behind of helping other people, not just learn how to do real estate, but learn how real estate hacks your life. And you can have amazing relationship with your wife. You can have great relationship with your kids. You don't have to work and become Grant Cardone or Donald Trump.
Yeah.
You don't even have to be Brant Phillips. You can just be the best of you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. What would you want to leave people with today?
Dude, I think it's just, I want to touch on what you just shared, man. It's what, call have it all lifestyle. Like you can have it all, and you can have it all today. It doesn't mean that you have to have $1 million or whatever cash sitting in your bank account. It doesn't mean that you have to have a great marriage today, or or great relationships with your kids today. But you can start working today and have it, right? Like you can sow those seeds today. This is what I did when I was doing all my breakthrough stuff. It was like you can have it all and be spiritually connected in your relationships. Just means that you're sowing into those relationships daily, and they're not always reciprocating. That's okay. We still do what we're committed to do as, husbands, fathers, leaders, just friends, and we do the right thing. We sow into those relationships. I won't get too far on with kids, but I understand. So my daughter went through a little period of time where me and my wife were like, she doesn't want anything to do with us at all.
Yeah.
It's like we made jokes. She's like a freaking cat. She sits in her room and comes out and just hisses every now and then and goes back up in her room.
13?
Yeah. She just turned 14. Yeah.
Ah.
So
this was all happening during the 13.
The
and
13
12?
was a kind of a dark year. And we're like, this is not.
It's very tough.
This is not fun.
My 13-year-olds, I have two of them. My fiance has a 13-year-old, and we're coming out of it with the 13-year-old. Yeah. Man, it was tough.
Yeah, a friend of mine, a mastermind, I should say friend, his daughter just, he's mentioned this before, how bad the relationship is. Now his daughter has turned, and she's coming to work with him. He's like, I don't hate her anymore. He's like, we went through 10 years of, like, it was not good. But anyway, but to have it all lifestyle, for people listening, like wherever you're at, it's figure out what you want, in your life spiritually, like James mentioning what he wants in that part of his life, what you want your relationships to be like what you want with your friendships is different than what I want out of friendship. That's okay. Get clear on that, on our body, our fitness, and taking care of our body. And then our finances, like invest in those areas, daily. Get clarity on it, take action on it, and that's how you have it all. And you may not have, hit all your goals today or anything like that, but over time, you're investing in all those areas every day, right? And so that's going to, ultimately, you keep investing in those areas, it's going to produce fruit. So that was one of my big revelations was years ago, I was basically a one-dimensional douchebag.
Oh God, yeah.
That's what I was. I'm like, I was just
mine may have been just like 46 years of being a one-dimensional douchebag. I feel like I'm just coming out of a higher level of thinking. So I would just say, no matter where you're at, like
money's not going to solve all your problems.
It almost makes it worse.
It will make it worse. It will reveal all your character, all your shit, and all your shortcomings inside. It's just really gonna reveal it, make you look like a bigger douche, to be honest with you. So that's what I was like, man, that's the road I'm going down. The midlife crisis. Oh, successful in business, but bad dad, bad husband. Drinking way too much, all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I needed to fix things. So I just made a choice to fix, and I realized like money is gonna like there's all these buckets of life that we ultimately want to fill, like a legacy and fulfillment and all these things. The money bucket, like that's important, but it's not that hard to fill that bucket up, to be honest. And so that's why it's important, but I like my paradigm is, my faith, my family, my fitness. Finances is last. It's the easiest thing. But we spend so much time, thinking that if we just make enough money, if we're just successful, people are going to love us, and we're, right. And it's like,
what's the hardest bucket to fill?
I think with me is probably a family type of thing. I mean, like I'm there on time, but a lot of times, connecting and communicating the right way is hard for me because I'm guarded. So that was, I realized most of us are really good at one area, maybe two. For me, finance is pretty not easy, but I got that. Taking care of my body, my fitness stuff, I'm pretty good there. Spiritual things, a little bit more difficult, and family relationships, opening up at times, things like that.
Man, you did great today, dude.
Oh, thank you, man.
You're like you brought the heat the whole time.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. No, this has been really good.
Yeah, I'm glad we were able to talk, man.
Yeah, I kept thinking this jackass is going to keep pushing me off like every month.
Dude.
But finally, because I remember having to get on Facebook and saying, Brant, stop sending me your burner phone number and give me the regular
I've been
one.
traveling a lot, man. We've been buying parks and all that kind of stuff. So
no, it's kick-ass, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible to see where we were at in this little itty-bitty realm of single family, and now you've just taken single family and figure out a way to make money while you sleep through other people's activities.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're doing these mobile home parks. I'm funding my first 17-unit apartment complex.
Awesome.
Yeah, with Bible.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Here in Houston?
No, in Corpus Christi.
Okay, cool. Yeah, they're doing a lot down in Corpus, I think.
Yeah. So it's fully rented out.
Yeah.
We get cash flow checks month number 1.
Cool.
I mean, for me, that's the way to go.
Yep. Good deal, man.
Well, dude, I appreciate it. I would tell people, I'm gonna leave you guys with something, and that is what Esther Perel says. I don't know if you know who Esther Perel is. Mm-hmm. She's a leading marriage and family like relationship coach,
mm-hmm.
and she says that in life, that people will be married to three different people. And if you're lucky enough, those 3 different people will be the same person. You went through your wife, when she married you, was not the same person you are today. You had to go through that deep, ugly, nasty part in order for her to see the warrior that came out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you really want to know why your relationship sucks, why you're having poor sex, why your wife doesn't really want you or doesn't respect you, it's probably because you're not chasing dreams. She doesn't see you in your full manliness. I mean, how can a woman respect a guy that just goes home, sits behind a computer all day, works a boring job, then gets home, sits in the garage, watches sports? It doesn't say, hey, come fuck me. It says, hey, this guy doesn't really give a shit about life. He's already dead.
Yeah. Dude, that's really powerful. I know you're trying to wrap it up. Man, but that hits home, man. That hits home. Like, basically, there's 3 things that most dudes, most people, they're not living.
They're not.
They're not living.
They're not in the arena.
They're definitely not in the arena at all. And they're just, I mean, honestly, like they're wasting their life.
I believe they're snipers. They just want to go and snipe people's joy.
Yeah. Oh, well,
right?
For sure, a lot of them. Yeah, but a lot of them, oh man, I forget the quote, but he said something to the effect. He's like, most men live quiet lives of desperation.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just quiet, and they're watching from the stand. Some of them aren't even sniping. They're just sitting there watching, and they're numbing themselves with, whether it be alcohol or drugs or just TV or food or whatever. And basically there's 3 things, that we need as men and even women, but in this book, man, was like such a powerful book. And of course, I'm going to forget the name of it as I'm on here in the podcast, but I read it multiple times. I'll remember it in just a second. But the premise is like we need 3 things in our life in order to be alive. Okay. So number 1 is like he says we need a battle to fight. And he goes back to like caveman. It's like, dude, we need to be.
Is this Wild at Heart?
Yes, Wild at Heart. Thank you, man. Yeah, so like we need a battle to be fighting. Because if you're just some keyboard dude, like there's no, like you need to be fighting for something, obviously like military, like they go out and they go do battle for us. Like they go out and fight. And they get us, like guys like Atkins, they've served, like they've went and fought a battle. We don't have that, so we kind of have to create it. Like, what is our battle to fight, right? It could be some type of worthy cause or some type of giving or something like that. Number 2, we need an adventure to live. One of the reasons I signed up for the Ironman, I was like, this dude's right. I need an adventure. Can real estate be adventurous at times? Sometimes. A little, sometimes.
If it's your side hustle and you've been talking about it and then you start doing it, then that is a fight that you're fighting and it's an adventure you're going on.
It can be.
And your wife can see that.
Yeah. But
right?
not if you've done hundreds of deals like us. Like, it's not the same.
You're 100% right.
Yeah. So have an adventure, right? Like we're booking a trip. Me and my kids are going to go climb a mountain and we're going to go to Arizona when the Texans are playing the Cardinals, so we can go see the game too.
Nice.
And then the last one is a beauty to rescue, like loving your woman, romancing her, just keeping that fun. Like this is the chemistry, right? To have like a well-fulfilled life is be fighting a battle, living an adventure, and just romancing your wife and your beauty, or whoever it is that you love. And those are some of the key ingredients. You hit on it, and that sparked it in my head, dude. Wild at Heart was amazing.
It's a Disney movie.
Yeah.
When have you ever seen a Disney movie where the main character isn't in a tower or isn't somewhere, and the guy has to run through a gauntlet to go get her? That's the reason why when you do finally get the princess, it's not something where you're like, oh, I guess I can throw it away now because it's Sunday, so I'm just going to go sit here and destroy my relationship by watching football all single day long. You know, like I don't know why you marry these women just to have them at home. Is it because you're just scared of being alone for like when you're sleeping?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I asked out a woman who was significantly much better looking than me for a reason, because I know me. I get bored and I love beauty. Mm-hmm. And I see her as a woman whose heart I want to attract constantly. Yeah. And so it forces me to be a better person.
Sure.
Right. But I didn't have that choice when I got married the first time.
Yeah. And we didn't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
Or didn't know.
And I mean, anyway, yes. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, big thanks to Brant. Thank you, brother, for coming.
Thanks, bud.
This is awesome. I can't wait to watch the replay and hear other people's thoughts about it. And then go build something today. Go fight a fight. Go get an adventure. Make love to your wife.